Everyone here at Prairie is so grateful for all the partners who have been generous and loyal donors through the years. Philanthropy and donors have been part of the heart program's history since the beginning. We're celebrating the 40 years of Prairie Cardiovascular, but also the 55th anniversary of the first open heart procedure back on February 6, 1965.
From the very beginning, the first heart-lung machine was funded, at least in part, by a donor. That's really what impresses me the most when I look back. Something that started, pretty focused and modest, developed into something as big as Prairie. The heart program here in Springfield has never been led by faint-hearted people. From the very beginning, the physicians and the people who worked with the program were people who had a lot of courage. They were decisive people, and all of that amounted to enormous progress in heart care.
I actually started with Prairie in 1982, so I was very fortunate to be able to work with Dr. Smalley and Dr. Harp and Dr. Dove. So during my time at St. John's and at Prairie, I've witnessed a lot of evolution in the care of patients and the innovation that we've been able to provide. It's always been high quality. The compassion and the passion has always remained the same and had been a top priority. Dr. Dove always alluded to the fact that you can have a mission and you can have a vision, but if you don't have the passion to deliver that to patients, then you don't have a great organization. And so I think that that has been a key factor. In the early 80s, the early founding fathers for Prairie recognized the fact that research was going to be extremely important. And so they worked very diligently, giving a lot of their own time and financial support to getting that Prairie education and research off the ground and up and running. The research that we do at Prairie contributes greatly to our success because it has allowed us to be the first to provide innovative procedures to our patients. During my time at Prairie, I have seen the impossible become possible. I remember when Dr. Taylor talked about putting a balloon in a coronary artery and blowing it up to open up the artery. So we all stood in the back of the cath lab and watched him do it, and we were like in awe.
As I look at the evolution of Prairie over the last 40 years, I look at a past that was inspiring. The opportunities in the future are to build on past successes. And I see Prairie continuing to build on those successes to maintain a dominance in the market. Prairie has always maintained a presence on the cutting edge of medicine. We've stayed well ahead of the curve in medical devices and in new technologies. So it's the donors who make it possible for Prairie to stay on the cutting edge. I think donors need only to look at the patients that we serve. I think that's where they would see how grateful every single provider, every single employee, and every single patient of Prairie truly is to the people who make it possible.